It's happening all over again. Something really interesting is happening here with Bitcoin and with the overall markets. We do have some big news coming in the next week. I want to walk through what's coming here soon. I want to go through a foolproof plan for making money in Bitcoin, for stacking Bitcoin, and talk about something that's pretty funny. Nancy Pelosi made a bad trade. Let's talk about that. If you don't mind, hit subscribe. Turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. We're at the cottage. Right? Got my cup of coffee. Just was looking through the markets. Probably the only video of the day because the volatility has been pretty low. But there are a couple things we have to talk about, so let's do that. If you do want to trade cryptocurrency, there's going to be a link underneath the video to Margex where you can trade using leverage. You can get set up in just a few seconds. There's also a big airdrop going on right now. You can get part of the $5 million worth of hamster tokens. And there's also a link underneath the video to CoinW where you can trade futures or trade spot. And they're also doing a huge airdrop. Just a few days left in this. So if you want some free tokens, if you want to trade this market a little bit, you can check out the link to CoinW underneath the video. Let's just spend a second here. Bitcoin is right around $60,000 once again. We have been stuck pretty much in this range, in this little triangle for a long time, but you can see we have fallen out of it a couple times now. If we scroll down, yeah, maybe we're still in a slightly bigger triangle. It's hard to tell exactly, but we have seen a lot of support right around this level, this $60,000, $61,000 range. So I'm guessing there are a lot of people putting in longs and shorts at this point because if we just bounce to where we were just a few days ago, well, that's up 7%. Okay, 6% on a 10x is a 60% gain. If we fall down, maybe we retest this area around 58 or even go further. So there are a lot of people taking bets in this market. It is interesting. Lower volume, of course, over the holiday weekend in the US. But let's take a look at some of the stuff ahead because there are some big events. First of all, we're done with the second quarter. So we start getting earnings really next week. We have PepsiCo, Progressive, a couple big companies. There was that 12-figure companies. And then Friday, we get the big banks. JP Morgan, over $500 billion bank. Wells Fargo, Citigroup, Bank of New York Mellon. So we start getting the big banks. And then the following week, we get more and more banks. We get more and more large companies. Let's scroll over a little bit. United Health, Bank of America, ASML, Johnson & Johnson, Netflix, and then we start getting the tech earnings more and more. So it's going to be a very interesting next couple of weeks, and next week is a big economic week. We have initial jobless claims, we have CPI, we have PPI. Two of the biggest inflation indicators and two of the biggest economic events are happening next Thursday and Friday. So it should be an interesting week coming back from the holiday. It's important to remember too, the halving progress continues to cycle on. Right? We just had the halving, but people forget we are heading towards the next halving. Bitcoin's going to become even scarcer. You can see what typically happens. I mean, here we went down over this little 5% period. Here we went sideways after this halving period, and then here we've pretty much gone sideways as well. We have the little jump. Here we had a little jump. Here, not really a jump, just a fall down. But this is typically a boring period, but as you can see, after this period, we hit all-time highs back here in 2012, 2013. Here, we continued to move up and then hit all-time highs. Here, we moved up, then down, then up, and then made new highs. So this was like another 3-month period or so here where it was boring, or we went up and then down, did like a little loop up and down again. Here, we don't know, but hopefully we continue to make all-time highs. I think a lot of people would be excited with that. I also want to talk about, so I have a couple more things to talk about, but I do need to talk about today's sponsor, Dabcat. Okay, so recently I talked about Dabcat in a full video. If you want to check that out, you can search up my financial friend Dabcat. It's the official token of the Dabcat ecosystem, and there are about 16 days left in this pre-sale. The soft cap has already been reached. The pre-sale price is less than 1 penny right now. It's about 0.000026 Ethereum. The launch price is going to be between 2.5 cents and 5 cents. So there's a 2.5 to 5x right away on the initial gain. There's a lot of volatility with pre-sale tokens, so be ready for that. The token claim is on July 19. The token launch is on July 20th on Uniswap v3. And there are going to be way more centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges coming. You can read through some of their dApps and utility tools on their website. I'll leave links to this underneath the video. I would definitely check it out. The pre-sales on Bitbond, you can get to it, but you can get to it from the website. Okay, so how do you ensure that you make money in Bitcoin? Well, there's no certainty in life, right? We don't know if Bitcoin's going to be here even in a few years, because who knows if we're here in a few years. But assuming all that's okay, assuming the financial markets work like they've worked in the past, it's typically a good thing to dollar cost average. Now, typically, before the halving is a good time to be buying, then after the halving is a good time to be holding or trimming a little bit. But as you can see here, if you just dollar cost average from the worst time in the last bull market, which was the very peak, you would be up right now. You would be, if you had put in $100 a month, you would have put in about $3,200 and you'd be up over 100%. But at first you would be down, you'd be down. I mean, at one point here, you're down 40%, okay? 40%. But you'd move back in the green and boom, yeah, you're up 130% by the end of this time period. And this is not cherry picking. Like, this is one of the worst dates that you could pick. Let's go back to, let's say, like 2017. Oh, it won't even let me. There's too many gains there. Let's go back to August 2019. Okay, here you'd be up 260%. So if you dollar cost average over time, don't get in your own head, you can typically do very well in Bitcoin. And that can be the case for other companies too, like the big tech companies that don't get disrupted, right? If you dollar cost average in them, you're typically going to do well over time. I mean, the reason I'm saying that, Tesla has been a dog recently. It's up 6% here today. This is after it's up 26% this week, after it's up 40% this month. It's nearing $250. So doing extremely well. And you know what's pretty funny? Nancy Pelosi, who's, everyone talks about how well she trades. Sometimes I think she throws in a bad trade just so that people don't get too pissed off. She sold 2,500 shares of Tesla last week at a price under $185. So it was worth about $450K at the time. She lost out on about $60 per share. You know, that would be nice, 150 grand. But for her, I guess it doesn't really matter too much. She did make some new investments here as well. You can see here, purchase Broadcom, purchase of NVIDIA in the amount of $1 to $5 million. And she partially sold her Visa. She sold about 2,000 shares. Okay, let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. If you are going to Bitcoin Nashville, there's a link underneath the video where you can get a discounted pass. You get 10% off your pass. So definitely check that out underneath the video. You get an additional 21% off if you pay in Bitcoin. There's also those links to trade cryptocurrency on Margex and CoinW underneath the video as well. I really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on all this. Let me know your thoughts on the market. Overall, just a bit of a boring time, but we'll make it through. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I will see you all in the next video.